What's going on, Bills Mafia? Welcome back to the Bills Bunker. Recently, I've been breaking down every game on the Bills schedule. I started with the most anticipated one on our schedule, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions, and then I did the Week 1 and Week 7 opponents in the New York Jets, a division rival of ours. Now we are on to Week 3 against the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm really looking forward to this game, to be honest. The Rams have completely started a rebuild. I mean, they lost a lot of talented pieces on both sides of the ball. They lost Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley on the offense, Clay Matthews on the defense, and they lost others as well. But these are just some of the main pieces that they lost. So the Rams just went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, put up a very poor showing. I think they had 3 points, which is the least in any Super Bowl for any team to play in a Super Bowl. So that didn't really pan out for them the way they were expecting it to. So looking at the Los Angeles Rams, they have someone on their team who referred to Josh Allen as trash, and he proceeded to get torched by Josh Allen in a 24-21 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars a couple years ago. Jalen Ramsey. So Ramsey has run his mouth about pretty much every quarterback there is that he's ever played. And Josh Allen is very self-motivated, so he doesn't really need that extra motivation. And I can guarantee you Josh Allen is going to do everything he can to expose Jalen Ramsey with Stephon Diggs lining up against him. Now, we're going to do a position-by-position breakdown here. Looking at the first position is quarterback, so it's Josh Allen or Jared Goff. Goff is a former number 1 overall pick. He played in a Super Bowl, and I think Josh Allen's upside is higher. Jared Goff didn't lead the Rams there. He was carried by a lot of things. He had an amazing head coach in Sean McVay. He had a heck of a defense that year. I mean, that defensive front with Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers, that's wicked. I mean, that's one of the best defenses I've seen in a long time. And then he just had an abundance of weapons, and Todd Gurley was still there in the backfield. He put up his best season in his career. So I see Josh Allen as a higher upside than Jared Goff. I mean, his arm strength is abundantly clear to everybody. He can run the ball better than Jared Goff could ever dream of. I mean, Josh Allen over Jared Goff for me. Looking at the running back position, the Rams do not truly have that number 1 back that they had for a little while in Todd Gurley, who was just dealing with injuries. So they couldn't justify having his contract any longer because of his injuries. They have a few guys back at the running back position that haven't really solidified themselves or their names in the NFL. And looking at Devin Singletary, who was 3rd in the NFL in average yards per carry in 2019, his rookie year, along with Zach Moss, who looks like a lot like Ezekiel Elliott to me, the way he runs the football. A steal in the 3rd round pick. I'm taking the Bills running back group over them any day of the week, and it's not even close. Now look at the wide receiver group for the Los Angeles Rams, who lost Brandon Cooks this offseason. I mean, they have Cooper Kupp and a former Buffalo Bill, Robert Woods, along with Van Jefferson, who they drafted. I mean, these guys can make some big plays. Cooper Kupp can really stretch a field, and Robert Woods does a lot of great things. I'm excited to see what Van Jefferson can do in the NFL, but I really like the Bills wide receiver group more. I mean, Stephon Diggs is going to stretch that field vertically, and it's going to open up a lot of receivers underneath. Creating separation is going to be a lot easier for John Brown, Cole Beasley, Isaiah Hodgins, Gabe Davis. I mean, these guys are going to make plays for the Bills. Looking at the tight end group, Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett of the Los Angeles Rams have to take this one over the Bills tight end group, which hasn't really made a full statement in the NFL. I mean, the Bills have a lot of depth at that position, but until Dawson Knox is more consistent and he showed a lot of flashes last year, but he needs to show that he can be consistent, which I think he can be if he just cleans up a couple things and Josh Allen gets him the ball a little more. I expect Knox to be a bigger part of this offense in 2020, but for now, the Los Angeles Rams take the advantage there. Now, the Bills' offensive line for me, I'm taking them over the Los Angeles Rams' offensive line. I really love the way this Buffalo offense is running through this offensive line. I mean, once the offensive line improved last season, our offense was able to do a lot more things. I mean, I've said it before that Josh Allen and Deion Dawkins were the only returning members last season from the season prior to that on the whole offense. So he had one offensive lineman. Josh Allen had one offensive lineman he was just getting to know, really. And Deion Dawkins had a whole other offensive line come in. And these guys all had to get to know each other. They're going to do a lot of good things, create a lot of holes for Singletary and Moss to run through, and get a lot of protection for Josh Allen in the backfield, who uses that time. He can run the ball. He can launch it. He's going to do a lot of things because this offensive line is solid. The defensive line. The Rams win this one, and it's kind of by a landslide. I mean, I really love the Bills' defensive line and what they're doing with drafting A.J. Epinesa. They still got Jerry Hughes around, and they have a lot of other pieces that they brought in through free agency. But the Los Angeles Rams, they've got an X-factor piece there. Aaron Donald is one of the best, if not the best, defensive players in the NFL. And Michael Brockers, I mean, this defensive line is insane for the Rams. The Rams get it every day of the week. And I don't think there really is a defensive line that's better. Maybe the San Francisco 49ers might have the only better defensive line than the Los Angeles Rams right now. Aaron Donald is an X-factor piece. Look at the Los Angeles Rams linebacking core, and they've got some solid pieces on the outside, but they've got a hole in the middle. Samson Ebukam and Leonard Floyd on the outside, but I'm not really too sure who they're going to piece into the middle there. And that's a huge hole because your quarterback of your defense is your linebacker. And the quarterback of the Bills' defense is Tremayne Edmonds. He's a young and very talented one as well. He's paired with Matt Milano, A.J. Klein. This linebacking core for the Bills over the linebacking core for the Rams, 100%. The defensive back group on both teams are very strong. The Rams highlighted by Jalen Ramsey and John Johnson, the safety, but the Buffalo Bills are highlighted by a lot of people. They have Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde as their safeties, Tre'Davious White, Josh Norman, Levi Wallace, Teron Johnson. The Bills have the advantage in the secondary group. Jalen Ramsey is not really comparable to Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White is on another level from Jalen Ramsey. Tre'Davious White you can compare to Stephon Gilmore, but you can't compare Stephon Gilmore and Jalen Ramsey at all. Tre'Davious White, in my opinion, is the number one corner in the NFL, and Jalen Ramsey might be a top 5 corner in the NFL. So, I mean, the comparison's not really there. Tre'Davious White is younger, our safeties are better, and our corner depth is better as well. So the Bills take the advantage in the defensive secondary, and both solid defenses, but I'd rather have the Bills defense, which has a lot more rotational pieces. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned. Check out my Instagram, my Facebook page, Twitter.